We are coming up on the release of Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition. It is coming May 29th in just a few days, and while a lot of the changes within the game, and they are big changes, have been well documented versus the original title, however, there are quite a few changes that aren't quite as big in scale, however, are still very complementary towards the overall experience that the Definitive Edition is going to offer that is going a little bit under the radar. These are 5 smaller changes that you might not know about, and without further ado, let's just get right into it. I want to keep this relatively brief. Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition will let you rewatch cutscenes with the Events Theater mode. Now, this is a brand new mode being added to Xenoblade Definitive Edition. Now, while the original game didn't have the Events Theater mode, Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition will, meaning you can rewatch cutscenes. Now, this feature is something that is becoming more and more common with a lot of RPGs, especially ones with lengthy cutscenes, and Xenoblade Chronicles is definitely one like that. Now, you might be of the mindset, hey, I can pull up these cutscenes on YouTube or whatever, but it's nice to have that feature built in directly to the game, that if you see a cutscene that you really enjoyed, you can go back to the Events Theater and you can rewatch that cutscene, maybe relive a moment, a classic moment from the game, a humorous moment from the game. It's got a lot of those as well. There's a lot of great moments in Xenoblade Chronicles, and the fact of the matter is, with the Events Theater, you can revisit them whenever you want. Now, this feature was available in Xenoblade Chronicles 2 and in Torna, the Golden Country. The Events Theater mode has scenes from both the main game and Future Connected, and both also have main story scenes as well as scenes with allies, so it's got quite a few different scenes. Exactly all of the scenes that will be available isn't clear, but what was noted is that you'll be able to customize the event scenes to your liking. In Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition's Events Theater, you can customize the outfits, time of day, and the weather to give it your own unique touch. So that's another interesting layer to an Events Theater that they definitely did not have to do, and that's what I've noticed about Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition. A lot of these changes are changes that, yes, are a little bit minute, and there are things they absolutely did not have to do, but the fact that they did do it, hey, that's just something that's going to add another layer to the game. Alright, another one that you might not know about is Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition lets players in control of using XP and leveling up with the Expert mode. When playing in Expert mode, it's possible to stock up on XP to more easily control character levels. Players can earn experience in different ways, such as through normal battles, completing side quests, and entering new areas. However, in Expert mode, it's a little bit different. You control the EXP and use what you've collected when you want to level up. You'll also get EXP back when you choose to lower the level of a character. You get the EXP back, so that's rather interesting. It's giving you a lot of power in terms of gameplay. Probably wouldn't play in Expert mode for your first playthrough. However, if you want to go back and play the game with a different kind of a twist, maybe decide to go through it with Expert mode. And again, another addition that is a little bit off the wall, and they definitely didn't need to do it, but it's adding another layer to the gameplay elements of the game and giving it a little bit more replayability. And this was a game that was already very lengthy. It's not like you need to add a level of replayability to it, but hey, they're doing that as well. Also, another new feature, Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition Time Attack Challenges was confirmed. The news comes from a series of tweets from the game's official Japanese Twitter account using the Google Translation. Niche Gamer noted, as the name may imply, players are tasked with defeating a set of monsters as quickly as possible. The challenges available depend on the player's progression in the story. Free challenges proceed as usual, while limited challenges have special conditions. Some battles may have multiple waves of monsters, and also, if you do well enough, you can earn crystals. These can be exchanged for equipment and gems. Some of them were posted via images, and again, another new feature being added. Is Time Attack going to be the game-making feature for Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition? No, but it's something that, much like the Expert mode, isn't something that had to be in this game, but they decided to put it in, and it's going to give you another way to play the game and another element to the game that is included. Next up, this was one that I really appreciated. Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition will feature reworked lip syncing. If you guys have played a lot of JRPGs, you might notice a lot of them don't have the best lip syncing in the world, because obviously they were originally made for Japanese audio, and then they're dubbed over with the English audio, and sometimes that gets a little bit lost with the English voiceovers and the lip syncing. For the majority of JRPGs, that's usually how it works. For some of the bigger budget titles, the big Final Fantasy games and things of that nature, yes, they will get better lip syncing. But also in Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition, it will have reworked lip syncing. Speaking with Roger Base, Rob from the Nintendo Treehouse team confirmed that the game is going to feature reworked lip syncing for the whole game. Footage of the Future Connected epilogue showed superior lip syncing compared to the original game, obviously, but it's good to know that the main game received a similar treatment. So not only will Future Connected, the 10 to 12 hour epilogue, and some even say it could go as far as 20 hours if you decide to do everything. We're not here to talk about that, but Future Connected having reworked lip syncing is kind of obvious because Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition with new content being created, now you can expect it to sell a lot more than it originally did. However, the original game's fundamentals were already in place. They didn't have to go back and rework the lip syncing, but the fact that they did is another coup in the hat of Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition that speaks to the quality of this remaster, or some of you guys really get upset when I say that, remake. You can say that as well. And lastly, while Future Connected has definitely been the most highlighted element of the Definitive Edition, I mean, it's a significant epilogue being added to the game, and that's why when people are harping on a $59.99 price point, I don't think you can really do that, because Future Connected could easily be like a $20 to $30 DLC, and then you're essentially paying $30 to $40 for a remastered version of Xenoblade Chronicles. I don't see anything wrong with that. Nevertheless, Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition's additional scenario, Future Connected, will also feature a new battle system. We don't know much about that, but according to the packaging for the game's download card that's available at retailers in Japan, it notes an untold story that connects to the future, includes an additional scenario that reveals Amelia's afterstory. The card packaging reads, a new battle system that utilizes Nopon reinforcements and new maps will also appear. Just because it was a brief sentence that was posted, that's getting a little bit lost. Most people are focusing on the fact that Future Connected will actually be a very significant epilogue story, and it will be a relatively lengthy. The fact of the matter is, it's also going to feature new maps and a new battle system. Whatever that is, sounds rather interesting, and it's much more than just an added story piece of content. That's going to conclude this video. Again, I am very excited for Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition. As a lot of you probably already know, the game is coming up on its release, and it's a game that is definitely going to be one of the best JRPGs of the year, and we're talking about that in a year where there have been tremendous Japanese RPGs on just about every platform, whether it's the FF7 remake, whether it's Persona 5, whether it's Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition, and you're looking at the rest of the year as well. There's a lot of good stuff coming out, but I really think Xenoblade Chronicles is one that's going to stand out for a lot of people, especially because so many did miss it back when it was originally released in, 2010, so very excited for this one. That's going to conclude this video. Sound off with all of your thoughts in the comment section down below. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.